Hello, fictional. Welcome to the What If Issei. Today we are gonna see what if Issei is adopted by Gabriel. Part 1. If you end up liking this video, please consider subscribe, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Two friends having just completed their journey to repair time and preventing the planet's paralysis via restoring the time gears to the Temporal Tower in the Hidden Land. Were on their way back home, but slowly one of them was starting to feel weaker and slowly his body was giving out on him. Sorry Chikorita, but this is the end for me. The black and red fox said. What do you mean Issei? Chikorita asked, her voice trembling. With time restored, the Pokémon from the future will cease to exist, seeing as we were born after the planet's paralysis. Therefore, since the paralysis never happened, I was never born. This means I no longer exist. When I said we must head on for this is our final adventure, I meant it. I came here to make sure you can live a long and happy life. Issei answered as light started to surround him and he slowly started to turn translucent. No, Issei, you can't leave me. Please don't go. Chikorita begged as the light grew brighter and brighter. Goodbye Chikorita, have a good long and happy life. Issei said as Issei vanished. Chikorita fell to the ground as tears fell from her eyes, but slowly she steeled herself and decided to confront the Alga. To try to get her Issei back or at least give him a chance at life. Therefore, she climbed the Temporal Tower to talk to the Alga. When Chikorita reached the summit of the Temporal Tower, she directly went up and demanded that the Alga restore Issei. I'm sorry, what you ask of me is impossible, for you see this would make his sacrifice pointless as it would distort and eventually destroy time. Dialga explained with a broken voice as he wished he could help the selfless hero that sacrificed everything so that the world could have smiles on their faces. That's not fair, this isn't even his world, so why should he have to sacrifice himself for it? Chikorita retorted with tears running down her face. Life is rarely fair, young one, but I must ask, what did you mean by this isn't even his own world? Dialga inquired. That Issei was originally human, so he's from the human world, not Pokémon world. Chikorita explained. Well then there is something we can do, you see I can return him to his original world, but know this, he can never return here. Dialga replied. So, I can never see him again. Well at least he'll live, so that's better than nothing. Chikorita replied in a broken voice. Not quite, but if you want to see him you will have to travel to the human world, which would a long and arduous journey. To do this, you must first seek the help of my brother Palkia, but this will be an exceedingly difficult task, seeing as he's extremely hostile towards trespassers. To begin your journey you must search for the spatial rift, after which you must use the world bridge, which connects our two worlds, but I must warn you that the bridge is extremely dangerous. Can't you send me there like you sent Issei? Chikorita asked hopefully. Sorry, but that's impossible since Issei was a victim of time, so transporting him is easy, but taking you into the embrace of time is impossible. Dialga explained. Thank you, I'll begin my journey. Chikorita said as she departed the Temporal Tower. Scene break. Where am I? Who am I? All I remember is my name Issei. Issei asked himself. Suddenly, a beautiful blonde girl appeared and asked, hello little boy, how are you? Do you have anyone to look after you? If not, would you like to come with me? Sorry, I don't even remember if I have anyone at all to look after me. All I remember is my name. Issei replied. Then how about I be your sister then, but first I think I should introduce myself. My name is Gabriel. The blonde girl said. Gabriel took Issei to her home, which was a 6-story mansion, and let him pick the room he wanted. Time skipped 6 years. It has been 6 years since that day Gabriel adopted me as her brother. I learned my surname is Hyoudou. I also learned that my parents died 7 years ago, a year after I disappeared, but I still remember nothing about it. It's also been 2 years since Gabriel left, but I know she hasn't abandoned me since she left me a bank account that she always deposits $1,000 a month and a message telling me where she currently is cause she's opened a new business that requires a lot of travel. Issei recalled. Issei ran to school because he was running late. I consider myself as average, but for some reason girls hate me and call me pervert. I think it may be due to my idiotic friends who even give perverts a bad name. First off is Mitsuda, also known as the sexual harassment paparazzi, and Motohama, known as perverted glasses, whose glasses have the ability to calculate girls' BWH. Personally, they now disgust me. They have really changed recently. You really can't compare them with how they were like 2 years ago. For instance, Mitsuda was a star athlete and Motohama was ranked in the top 10 in academics, but they threw that all away to ogle girls. Anyway, they now call us the perverted trio. Even though I've done nothing to deserve being pegged with such a title, I guess that's the price for having bad friends. Issei, can you please remind me why we entered this school? Mitsuda asked. You two entered with hopes of forming harems, since this is a school that recently turned co-ed, so girls outnumber boys 5 to 1, well I entered due to it being a prestigious academy. Issei replied. Please don't remind, I'll feel empty. Motohama whispered. But that damned pretty boy Kiba has all the girls infatuated with him, that bastard. Mitsuda uttered. Kiba's not that bad, I mean it's not like he's actually doing that out of spite. Issei added. Traitor, how can you side with such a pretty boy bastard, he's the enemy of all boys. Both of the boys yelled. Whatever, go peek or something, just leave me alone now. Issei told them, annoyed at their perverted antics. As he walked away. Time skipped 30 minutes. Wow, I would have thought you two would have learned your lesson by now. I mean, this happens almost every day. When will you two stop trying to peek on the girls' locker room? Don't you two know hell hath no fury like a woman scorned? Issei asked the two who were black and blue from the beating the female kendo club dealt them. As long as we can see some tits, we don't care. They both exclaim. You two are hopeless, do as you wish. Issei uttered in annoyance. From above those three, two girls were playing chess. Techmate, Akano, please next time, try to make the chess challenge more difficult, the girl with red hair asked her friend. I thought I did, Riaz. The Ravenet replied. As the two walked to the balcony that was the trio were currently standing beneath. That one there in the middle. Who is he? Riaz asked her friend. Why, is he a possible prospect? Well, he does have an interesting background. Akano questioned Riaz. Maybe. What do you mean by that, by the way? Riaz replied. Well, when he was 80 disappeared without a trace for 2 years, suddenly he appears fine, not even malnourished. The only real difference is that his hair and eyes changed color. He used to have brown hair and amber eyes, now he has red and blue eyes. Almost like you, in fact he could almost pass for your brother. Akano explained. Are you sure he hasn't dyed his hair and wearing contacts? Riaz questioned. Yes, I checked his medical files, and they are indeed natural, but the most surprising thing is his physical results. His strength is almost beyond what should be possible for humans. It makes me wonder if he was trained by the church, but that doesn't explain the hair and eye color change. Akano added. Well, it would explain it if he was in one of their experiments, but if he's here then that throws that idea out the window, seeing as they dispose of failures and successes are always monitored, and I haven't sensed anyone from the church nearby. Riaz reasoned. True, looks like this one is a real mystery. Should I have him monitored? Akano asks. Yes, please do. Riaz asks. Just then, the trio looked up and saw the two. Who is that girl? Issei asked. That's Riaz Gremory, 3rd year, she is also one of the 2 school idols. Mitsuda replied. Why would she look at us considering our reputation? Issei pondered aloud. Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Both of the perverts ask at the same time. Nothing, right, I'll be going now. Issei says as he leaves. What idiots. Issei mutters to himself. When he reaches the overpass halfway home, a Ravenet girl calls out to him. You're Issei Hyoudou, right? The girl asks. Yeah, who wants to know? Issei responds curiously. I'm Yuma Amano, I've always been watching you, and I want to ask, do you mind being my boyfriend? You do know my reputation, right? Even if it's undeserved, it makes this quite suspicious. Issei replies. But as I said, I have always been watching you, so I have seen the times when your friends go to peek at girls, but you never join them, you only got the reputation from being their friend. Yuma answered. Okay, then I will be your boyfriend, how about we meet tomorrow after school? Issei asks. Sure, I will drop by your school tomorrow then. Yuma replies. Hey, then see you later. Issei says as he bids her farewell. Sure, see you tomorrow. Yuma says as she walks the other way. I had better report this to the president, I small white-haired girl thought, who had been spying on the two. Scene break. I see, so I was right to have him monitored. If a fallen angel has taken interest in him, then he most likely has a powerful sacred gear within him. Give him a flyer and when he dies, I'll make him my own. Good work, Kaneko. Riaz explains. Yes, President. Both Kaneko and Akano answer. Time skip. After school next day, Issei was waiting at the gate of his school for Yuma to arrive as his 2 idiotic friends come by. What are you doing here? Mitsuda asks. Waiting for someone. Issei replies. Who are you waiting for? Motohama asks. Just then, Yuma arrives. You haven't been waiting long, have you, Issei? Yuma asks. Just who is this girl? Mitsuda asks with obvious anger in his voice. This is Yuma Amano, my girlfriend, and no, I haven't been waiting long for you. Issei answers. Just then, the 2 perverts' jaws drop to the ground as the couple ignore them and walk off. Traitor. The perverts shout at him. Scene break. The bridge. As the two are about to take their different ways, Yuma asks Issei a question. How about we go on a date on Sunday? Sure, sounds nice, let's meet at the station at 9:00 Sunday morning then. Issei says. Sure, it's a date. Yuma replies. Time skip. Train station 9:00 am. As Issei was waiting for Yuma, a girl dressed in a bunny costume gave him a flyer saying, we grant your wishes will come true. Moreover, underneath this there was an occult circle. Issei thought the flyer was just a stupid ad, so he just stuffed it in his pocket. Just as the clock was about to strike 9:04, Yuma arrived. Sorry, I'm late, I hope you didn't wait long or think I stood you up. Yuma asks. It's not a problem, you were only 3 minutes late, I wouldn't think you stood me up unless you were at least 15 minutes late. Issei replied. The two then headed towards the first location of their date, a romantic movie. Time skip. 2 hours later. That movie was great, you sure know how to pick them. Yuma compliments Issei. Thanks, well I hope you like what I set up next. Issei said as he leads Yuma towards an arcade. First, they went to a photo booth to get their picture taken, and then Issei saw a cute keychain and scrunchie. As a price for a dart game, the goal was to score less than 60 without any foul shots. Issei paid for 3 sets. First set he overscored with 80 points, second set he scored 50, but he had a foul shot, the final set he scored 50 with no foul shots. Therefore, he chose the keychain and scrunchie as his prize for Yuma. The next location was a restaurant designed for couples. They decided to share an ice cream float between the two of them. It was beginning to turn dark, so the final place was a park. When they arrived in front of the fountain, Yuma asked Issei a question. Issei, to commemorate this date, can you do me a favor? Sure, what is it? Issei asked. Can you please die for me? Yuma asked him sweetly. What? Issei asked, slightly panicky. Yuma's face did a 180-degree flip from sweet and innocent to cold, mature and sadistic as she repeated, please die for me. As black wings sprout from her back and light start to form in her hand, slowly taking the form of a spear. The next thing Issei notices is extreme pain coming from his chest. He looks down and sees the light spear impaled through his chest. Slowly the spear dissipates and blood flows forth. In addition, he collapses to the ground. At this, Yuma takes flight and leaves Issei to his fate. Am I going to die this young? Who would miss me? The only person I can think of that would is Gabriel. No, for her I can't die. Issei thinks as he starts to stand only to lose consciousness. Scene break. Issei should summon me any moment and I'll reincarnate him into my peerage. Riaz announced to the others in the room. Riaz, isn't it taking too long? Surely you should have been summoned by now. Okano pointed out. No, I think I miscalculated. Issei must be dead by now then. Okano, please inform Sona of Issei's untimely death. Riaz asked of the Ravenet. Yes, President. Okano replied solemnly. Time skip. Next morning, Ku Academy Gate. Riaz and her club members were talking, having arrived before anyone else for some club activities before school begins, when they are surprised to see none other than Issei Hyoudou walk in. Impossible, there's no way he could have survived the encounter with the fallen angel, Riaz whispered to her peerage. President, if you didn't notice, he now has the aura of a dragon, so maybe a dragon-type sacred gear. And that would explain how he survived. Okano pointed out. I won't let a dragon go unchecked in my territory, so we'll attack him. Riaz told her peerage. Hello, Riaz, how are you? Issei called out her, only to be surprised by a high-speed punch from Kiba. Issei barely dodged it, which everyone's eyes widened at. Impossible, how can he dodge a punch from a knight? Riaz whispered to her peerage as Kaneko came in for a punch, which Issei blocked but skidded back several meters. Even able to defend against a rook, looks like we've underestimated him. Riaz said. What the hell's going on? Why are you guys attacking me? It's not like I did anything to deserve it. Issei yelled. Hold off, so you really don't know what's going on? Then follow me to my club and I'll explain everything. Scene break. Spatial rift. Impressive young one, I never thought I would be defeated by one so young. A strange-looking dragon said. Well, I have been preparing to face you for 6 years now, so I had better be strong enough to beat you, Palkia. Said a dinosaur with a huge flower around her neck. I see, Meganium, well you did well. Palkia explained. My name's Chikorita, not Meganium. Just because I evolved doesn't mean I'll change my name. Anyway, now show me the way to the world's bridge. Chikorita demanded. Issei seats himself in one of the sofas awaiting the explanation behind the attack. You should know that in this world there are 3 major powers. In old times they were always at war with each other, but currently all 3 sides are exhausted, so we are in a Cold War situation, where even the smallest spark can ignite the gears of war. The 3 sides are the devils that dwell in the underworld, the fallen angels that defied God and lost their grace, and the angels. It started with the devils and fallen angels battling over possession of the underworld. However, eventually the conflict hit the surface world. So under God orders, the angels started eliminating both angels and fallen alike. All supernatural races took side, all but one. Dragons, they are selfish creature that care about nothing, but day 2 dragons suddenly decided to have an all-out duel in the middle of the battlefield. Any of the soldiers that got near them were vaporized instantly, as these dragons were as powerful as the archangels, the fallen angel governors and the devil kings combined. When any of the sides tried to break up their conflict, they would destroy them instantly, saying things like, mere angel and devils have no place in a duel between dragons. Eventually all the sides combined forces to seal these dragons in sacred gears. They were the heavenly dragons Albion, the vanishing dragon, and Drake, the Welsh dragon. Our side is devils, as you see every member of this club is a devil. Riaz explained as bat-like wings sprout themselves from everyone's back, but Issei. Okay, that's fine and all, but that doesn't explain why you attacked me. Issei replied. You're not surprised by all this? Riaz asked. Not really, my sister explained all this to me. Issei explained. So you're already affiliated with a faction, which one? Riaz asked. No, my sister wanted me to live a normal life away from all this. She only told me so I can protect myself. Issei explained. Right, we attacked you due to the fact you possess a draconic aura. So, you're saying I'm a dragon? Issei asked. No, it just you probably possess a dragon-type sacred gear. Sacred gear is a gift given by God to certain humans. Most world leaders and important people are sacred gear bearers. Most of them are harmless to us, but seeing as you were targeted by a fallen angel before, I believe you must possess an extremely powerful one. So how about I help you awaken yours? Riaz offers. Sure, if it helps me protect myself then it's a good idea. Issei replied. Alright then, imagine the most powerful being you can think of and strike a pose you believe they would use. Riaz instructed. Do I have to? That's embarrassing. Issei whines. You do if you want to awaken your sacred gear. Riaz explained. Fine. Issei grumbled as he took the pose of Goku, forming the Kamehameha wave attack with his eyes closed. Open your eyes now. Riaz requested. As Issei opened his eyes, he saw his hand covered in a red gauntlet that looked like it was made from scales. On the back of the hand was a huge green gem. Impossible, that's one of the Lost 13. The gauntlet of the Emperor of Red Dragon, boosted gear. One of the Long-Ina sacred gear that is rumored to even be able to kill a god or a devil king. Riaz announced in shock. I don't see what's so special about this thing. Issei says. Your words hurt me, partner. A voice coming from the gauntlet says. Heavenly Dragon Drag, I believe I never believed I would ever meet you. Riaz greets the voice. Wait, as in the one that caused a lot of trouble? What's it doing in me? Issei asked in a panic. I told you the heavenly dragons were sealed in sacred gears. Drag is sealed in yours and is also the reason it is so powerful. By the way, you never told me the name of your sister. Riaz explains. Oh, okay, my sister's name is Gabriel. Issei said. By the way, the girl that adopted him is the Seraph, but young partner didn't know that. It's strange, but it seems that the Seraph Gabriel is truly trying to protect Issei. I believe that's the true reason she left. Drake says. I see, well, Issei, something like boosted gear changes your situation dramatically, and now all the factions will be after you. Even Gabriel's, you see, her protection was her working on her own. Neither heaven nor the church. She most likely kept your existence secret, but now the secret is out and you will have to pick a side. But if you choose an enemy faction, I'll have to banish you from my territory, which is this entire city, Riaz stated. The fallen angels are defiantly out, seeing as they already tried to kill me. The devils attacked me, so they are out, and the church will try to manipulate me to doing their bidding, so they are out. Guess I'll have to try that. Issei thought to himself, I think I'll be neutral, but I don't mind being allied to you in all matters that doesn't involve the other factions. In exchange for permission to remain on your territory under your protection. Issei bargained. That's quite the deal. Are you sure you don't want to join devils? After all, you would make one hell of a devil. Riaz added. I'm human, how could I become a devil? Not that I would mind you. Issei asked. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the evil P system, didn't I? Well, since we lost a lot of devils in the war and devils have a low birth rate, we developed a system to turn other races into devils. Each high-class devil is given 16 pieces that can turn others into devils. The system is based of chess. The high-class devil acts as the king, while the others act as the piece given to them. There are 8 pawns, 2 bishops, 2 rooks, 2 knights and a queen. The knights and bishops are worth 3 pawns each, and the rook is worth 5, while the queen is worth 9 pawns. If you choose to join my peerage, I'll even let you choose your piece. Or pieces if you're worth more than one. You see, some people have too much potential to be reincarnated with only one piece, but the pieces have to be the same. Riaz explained. Thanks, but no thanks, I like being human, thank you. At least for now, that is. Issei replied. Such a shame. Oh well, no point in crying over spilt milk. Now then, if you're going to be staying in my territory, you better not cause any trouble. Riaz warned. Define trouble. If you mean in supernatural affairs, then no worries, I want to avoid the supernatural as much as possible. Issei explained. Then that's fine. Oh, and I want you to join my club to better keep an eye on you. Riaz explained. Oh man, your club keeps crazy hours. I need my sleep time. I normally sleep 7 to 9 hours daily. Issei whined. Fine, whatever, but I want you to do a couple of devil jobs for a while, so you can get an idea what it's like just in case you decide to join my peerage. Riaz offered. Fine, but don't expect too much. Issei grumbled as he left. Scene break: the park where Issei was attacked by the fallen angel. Great, I had to skip class to get my head around this. I mean, who has to deal with this shit? Devils, angels, fallen angels, why can't they just leave me alone? Issei pondered to himself as he was walking around aimlessly. As he was walking around, he accidentally bumped into someone. This brought him back to the real world. Issei looked down on the girl he accidentally knocked down and blushed. As he accidentally caused her to take an indecent position that exposed her white panties. She had blonde hair, green eyes and was wearing a nun robe. Though only very little of her hair was visible due to the veil she wore. Here, let me help you up. Issei said as he helped her to her feet. Sorry, I wasn't looking where I was going. The petite nun said as her veil fell off from her bow. So are you a tourist? Issei asks in a kind manner. No, I was assigned to the church in this town. Do you mind showing me the way there, since you're a native? The nun asked. I didn't even know there was a church here other than the abandoned one on top of the hill. By the way, I haven't introduced myself. How rude of me. My name is Issei Hyoudou. Issei introduced himself. Oh, I made the same mistake, please forgive me. I'm Asia Argento, and even though the church you mentioned is in a state of disrepair, it's not abandoned, and that's the church I was assigned to. Asia explained. I see, well, I'll lead the way then. Issei says as he starts to take her to the church. On the way to the church, they see a kid who fell over and scraped his knee crying. Asia went up to him and put her hand over his knee. Rings appeared on her fingers and a faint green glow appeared. Little boys shouldn't cry like that. Asia told the kid as she healed his knee. Sacred gear. Issei thought as he witnessed Asia heal the kid. Arigato one-chan. The boy said, thanking Asia. Asia looked confused, then he realized that Asia didn't speak Japanese and he could talk to her due to a spell Gabriel cast on him years ago to translate any language to the language of the speaker and listener, like the devil's natural ability language. Therefore, he repeated what the boy said so she would understand. He said, thank you, sister. Back away from that freak. The parent of the kid said, dragging him away after she snapped out of her stupor. Some people, she helped her kid, yet all she can say is that she's a freak of nature. Issei thought to himself. At the parent's expression, Asia looked slightly depressed. When Issei asked what wrong, she answered by telling him the story of the sacred maiden. A long time ago there was an orphan that was abandoned near a church. She was happy playing with all the other children there. Until one day she found a dying puppy. She brought it to the church to show the matron, and the matron told her that the puppy would die. So she prayed to God to help cure the puppy, and after a while, the puppy was cured. All the nuns started saying stuff about the child being blessed with the power of healing and calling her a sacred maiden. They told the higher-ups in the church, and the child was taken to a major cathedral to heal the believers. Even though she had no friends, she was happy, as she loved helping people even if she was seen as a creature that could heal, rather than a human. That was until one day she found someone who's injured. She immediately healed him. Later that day she found one of the priests dead, and running away from the scene was the man she healed with bat-like wings coming from his back. He was a devil. At this all, the church was in an outrage, saying things like, a power that can heal devils, that's witchcraft. So the girl was banished and her title as Holy Maiden turned to witch, and she was labeled a heretic. Asia explained, I don't want to end up like that girl, though I wish the church wouldn't punish her for her kindness. Therefore, I follow my orders, and I also pray very hard. Asia said. Wow, I can't imagine the church being so heartless as to do something like that. I personally would love to be that sacred maiden's friend and maybe help her gain more friends. Issei said. But people will shun you if you do that. Asia rebuked at that, in surprise at Issei's reaction to her story. And, who cares if people shun me for that, then who needs them, for a true friend is someone who likes you for you and not what you can do or what others think of him. Issei said. If only I met you earlier. For as soon as my usefulness comes to an end, I'll be disposed of. Asia whispered in a tone so quiet, too quiet for Issei to hear. When they arrived at the church, Asia offered Issei some tea as a show of appreciation for his help. Sorry, but I really am late for some work I've got to do. Issei replied, as he was late for the occult research club time. No problem, next time then. Asia called out. Scene break. Occult research clubroom. Issei, why did you skip out on school? Riaz asked in an angry voice with a cute pout on her face. I needed time to get my head around the situation, and school would have just made it worse. You're lucky I'm even here now. Issei replied. I guess that's reasonable seeing as you're new and I have no real authority over you. But it makes for a bad image if you do it so often, so please be careful. Riaz replied with a smile, clearly satisfied with Issei's answer. Suddenly, Akano rushed into the room and whispered something in Ria's ear. Looks like we have an order from Archduke Gremory to exterminate a stray. Issei, I would like you to accompany us so that you can see how devils fight and learn the qualities of the evil pieces. Riaz said. On the accompanying side, no problem, but I would like to try my chances against the stray, so here's my offer. I fight the stray, and if things go bad you guys help. How's that? Issei asked. Actually, that's a great idea, as I want to see what you're truly capable of, so I know the power of my ally. As I presume you held back against us and you had us at a stalemate without your sacred gear. Riaz said. You're right about me holding back, but I want to try something Drake taught me. Issei explained. Great, it's a shame we have to walk seeing as you can't use magic circles due to you not being a devil, and my magic circle can only be used by my clan. Riaz explained. Scene break. Abandoned warehouse. As they were entering, Issei's and Kaneko's nose wrenched and Issei asked. Just what is this horrible smell? Blood, sweat and secreted juices. Kaneko answered in monotone. I'm surprised you can smell it, seeing as we can't and we have higher sense of smell than humans. Kaneko can smell it due to her being a Nekomata. Riaz explained. So I'm special? I never seen myself as special before. Issei muttered in astonishment. Oh, you're defiantly special. Your sacred gear is enough to state that, let alone the fact you held a peerage alone without it and you're human or at least partly human. Riaz explained. What do you mean by partly human and how do you know I didn't lie about being human? Issei questioned. That's an easy one for you, see, only humans can have sacred gears, or at least partly human, or hybrids. Riaz answered. I see. Issei answered. I smell something sweet but also sour, I wonder which one are you? A voice sounded as a nude beautiful woman torso descended a column. Just how is that possible? A torso shouldn't be able to move like that. Issei asked. Kaneko secretly smiled at how Issei was completely different from the rumors, as she would have hated being in the club with a pervert. Riaz ignored Issei's remark, as she knew he would soon realize, and she smirked. Exile Devil Vaser, in the name of Archduke Gremory, we have come to exterminate you. Riaz said. As the torso came out fully from behind the column, it revealed its bottom half being a monstrous combination of different animals. Gremory girl, rip you till I turn you the same color as your hair. Vaser smirked. Press, let me take it from here. Issei said as he summoned boosted gear. Ride ended quickly, Issei. Riaz said. Remember partner, you can't fight till you accumulate enough boosts, but for you 3 boosts should be enough to use the attack I taught you. So Vader attacks for 30 seconds, then blast the attack at her, and it will be over. Drake told Issei in a quiet voice so only he can hear. As Issei stepped forward, Vaser charged at him. Issei ducked and rolled out of her path. Boost. Boosted gear announced. Vaser annoyed at her attack missing, held out her chest, and magic circles appeared of her breasts and launched acid. Again, Issei evaded it, but this time he did it by running around her. Boost. Boosted gear announced again, just one more and it's over. Issei thought to himself. As Vaser stands stunned at how easily that this human avoided her attacks, but smirked realizing that even though she can't hit him now, however, slowly but surely he will tire and he doesn't have the power to harm her. Boost. Explosion. Boosted gear announced. As Issei felt infinitely more powerful, Issei held his arm out and called out the name of the attack, Dragon Shot. As a beam of crimson energy left the gauntlet and headed straight for Vaser at speeds that couldn't be seen. Vaser tried to defend herself by throwing up the strongest barrier she knew, but it was erased the moment the beam collided with it. Then the beam immediately hit her, completely erasing her and continuing onwards, destroying the entire warehouse and heading out to the sea for about 400 meters before finally imploding, causing a huge splash that sent water fly like rain soaking the whole of the occult research club. I guess I overdid it. Issei said weakly as he lost consciousness. Unbelievable, his power was on par with an ultimate class there. Riaz muttered in shock at the spectacle, instantly re-evaluating Issei in her head. The rest of the club could only nod in stupor. Riaz, watch out, a powerful angelic signature is nearby. Akano warned Riaz. As the clouds disperse, a beautiful blonde-haired woman was before them, but what was most shocking was the 12 white wings that were on her back. The whole of the occult research club were shaking in fear, all but Riaz and Issei, that is. Seraphim Gabriel, what are you doing in my territory? Riaz asked, masking her fear well as one of the leaders of the angels was before her. I have simply come to retrieve my brother and take him home, seeing as he's not capable of getting himself there currently. Relax, I have no hostile intention towards you or your peerage, Gremory princess. Gabriel answers calmly. Your presence here could be assumed an act of war, seeing as this is devil territory, and what's your plans towards Issei? Do you plan to make use of him on your side? Riaz asked. First of all, I fail to see how I treat my little brother has anything to do with you. Secondly, I would never manipulate him, and he's free to do as he wishes, even joining your faction if he wished, but no matter what he chooses, I will always be by his side, even if it means falling. Gabriel answered. The orc, I'll now abbreviate this from now on, stood in shock at a seraph ready to go so far for a human was an unbelievable concept to them. I see, well then please take good care of him, and if he chooses to join us, then you are more than welcome to join him on our side. I bet you would be given ultimate class instantly, and then you could have Issei as your piece. By the way, was it you who rescued Issei from the fallen angel attack? Riaz asked. Yes it was, and about the second half that is yet to be seen. Gabriel said as she picked Issei up and took off into the night. Seen Break World's bridge. I can see what both Dialga and Palkia were saying, this bridge is a difficult obstacle. I've been walking for a couple of days, and I can just barely see the end of it. Chikorita thought to herself as she continued walking to the edge of the bridge. Then she remembered what Dialga told her before she began her search for the world bridge. Young one, know this, if you choose this path you can never return, you will never see your friends here again, and know that the young hero's memories are most likely scrambled, like how you found him when you two met. Also know that you will take a human form like him, but you will still be a Pokemon inside. Meaning you will retain all your powers. It would also make it hard for you to locate the young hero, seeing as he will not look as he used to. I have prepared myself, I will miss my friends back at the Wigglytuff Guild, but I now realize that I simply can't live without Issei. He's everything to me. I hope everyone back there understands. Chikorita thought to herself as she was quickly reaching the end of the bridge. Now I understand what the alga meant by I would never be able to return. Chikorita said aloud as she looked over the edge of the bridge seeing the human world, which was about 200 kilometers high. Well, here goes nothing. Chikorita thought as she leapt to the edge. End of the here. So that's it for today's video guys. Before you go, just like the video and share it with your friends. Bye.